rainy day today. About halfway through it already. We're just coming up to Regina, Saskatchewan here. From here it's about 6 hours back to the yard. This truck is gonna get those steer tires looked at tomorrow. Got the appointment there. All set up and lined up. So Brit's gonna meet me when I get back to the yard. We should be there before midnight. I'm hoping like around 11. 6 hours from now. Maybe even 10. We'll see. It's okay if I'm there a little bit before her. I need to get the truck cleaned up and vacuumed anyways, because if I know the mechanics and people are gonna be coming into my truck, I like to make sure it's clean. I mean, it should always be clean, but I like to, you know what I mean. So this is what we got to deal with today, all day. This is why I only started the vlog about halfway through the day. I mean, this is it. Woo! We're a few hundred miles, or maybe about 100 miles north of the US border or so. We're flying across eastbound Saskatchewan, right above western North Dakota right now. This is what it looks like on the Canadian side, the Canuck side. Not much different. Not much different. The only difference is, you see this intersection coming up right here? American interstates don't have these, they have overpasses. We have intersections. There it is. So I'll be home for the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll be home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be taking off on Monday. I believe I'll be headed back towards Georgia. Should be in Georgia on Wednesday then. And if we're lucky, we'll get a load back. And we'll be back again for the following weekend. Hey, 2 weekends in a row at home. Is that hoping for too much? Knock on wood, everybody. Knock on wood. Don't jinx it. It might happen. You never know, miracles have happened in the past. Here we are, you can see the sign off to the right there, that blue sign. Sort of looks like the shape of Minnesota. It's actually the shape of Manitoba. They copied us, or we copied them, one of the two. Back in our home territory, back in our home province. So I'm in the southwest corner of the province right now. I gotta get all the way over to the southeast corner. That's where I live, that's where I'm from. I hail from the southeast. Manitoba, the best part of Manitoba, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with me. Most of those people would probably be from that region, but hey, you can't argue with us. We're the best. It's gonna feel good to be home. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be home for 3.5 days or so. Monday morning doesn't really count because we're just running into the city to do some errands in the morning, and then I'm taking off to Georgia. This is one of our, well, our bushy areas, I guess you would say. I think this is a provincial forest here. What's it called again? I'm from eastern Manitoba. I don't know what it is in the west here. We're between Brandon and Portersville Prairie right now. This bushed area here, there's a huge, huge risk of being, I was gonna say being hit by a deer. Because you don't hit them, they hit you. That driver right there passing me, no shame, holding his phone in his hand, texting right in front of his face. No shame. At least put it down while you're passing me, alright? Honestly, I don't care what you do when you're out there by yourself, but when you're passing me, put your phone down. Come on. No shame. Not even trying to hide it, just parking for a few minutes here to check on things, check my logbooks and whatnot. As I'm filming this right now, VidCon is going on, and I don't get to go. I've been to VidCon for the past few years in a row. And it's not that I benefit a lot off going to VidCon. A lot of it, I think, is just for fans to meet their YouTubers, and my audience isn't the kind of people, usually, on the most part, the majority of you aren't the kind of people that are gonna go pay, you know, $150 for a ticket just to see me. I wouldn't expect you to ever do that. My audience isn't like that. It's more for the YouTubers that have a huge teenage audience, or these teenagers, they're like celebrities to these teenagers, and they'll beg their mom and dad and beg them and beg them and beg them to go to VidCon so that they can meet their favorite creator, just to realize he's just a normal everyday guy or girl. But I did find my first year there that I learned a lot. From the panels that I went to, I learned a lot about how to create better. You know, different rules, regulations in different states. Last year I learned about drone laws and whatnot, because that's what I was interested in. I had my drone then. If you go back in the description down below, or at the end of the video, there will be links around the screen. It'll take you back to my videos from last year, and that's from when I was in California at VidCon. It's actually where I got to hang out with Evan. Me and Brit got to hang out with him there, and he's actually one of the groomsmen for my wedding. He's coming up from California to stand up there with me while I say I do. Say the vows and all that fun stuff. So we're going to have Evan from California. We're going to have Jade and John from Tennessee. We're going to have Troy from Washington State. We're having Moses from Virginia. And our pastor who's marrying us is from Kansas. So a lot of Americans, a lot of America going on at our wedding. Yeah. So the way my logbook is worked out right now, it's kind of weird. It's hard to explain with Canadian hours of service. I have to have 10 hours off duty, or at least 10 hours or whatever, within a 24-hour period from midnight to midnight Central Time. I stop for an 8-hour break. Now that means I can get going, but I only stop for 8 hours in the last day from midnight to midnight, right? So I don't quite have the hours to get to the yard. But if I stop here for a half hour, that'll add a half hour onto my available drive time so I can make it. That did not even make sense in my head. It's very hard to explain. Canadian hours of service are a little different. They're more complicated in one sense, but they're a lot easier in another sense. I still got to make that video where we describe the differences in detail, and it's going to take a lot of time for me to put it together because I want to do a good job of it, and I want to make sure that it's as informative and accurate as possible. I just have to take my word for it. I have to sit here for another 9 minutes so that I can drive another half hour today. Because I stopped for my 8 hours, right? So it's only going to let me drive a certain amount because I drove past midnight yesterday. I can only drive 13 hours from midnight to midnight. And I have to have 10 hours off in there somewhere. 8 consecutive hours. And then the last 2 hours can be split up into half-hour sections, right? So if I stop for a half hour now, that's a half-hour off-duty slot. That'll mean that I can drive another half hour in this 24-hour period. Do you get it? Never mind, never mind. It's 10 o'clock at night right now. I gotta show off how bright the sky is here so late at night. Because from today forward, the sun's gonna start setting earlier and earlier. So let the record show at 10 o'clock at night, it's still daytime. It's actually, the sun's below the horizon now, I believe. It's hard to tell because there's trees in the way. You go a little further up to northern Manitoba, the sun will still be up. You go into Nunavut, Northwest Territories, Yukon, Alaska, they're enjoying 24-hour daylight right now. The sky will get mostly dark here at this time of year, but like I've said in the past couple of days, the northern sky will always stay bright and the sun will come back up probably around, start coming back up around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Really looking forward to this truck going into the tire shop tomorrow. It's bothering that one tire, I believe, has worn unevenly and is causing the truck to shake a little bit. The tread still seems to be good, but you can tell that it's wearing uneven. It's going to wear out fast now. It also pulls to the right. I thought it might be just the wind currents and the wind gusts, but that hasn't been a factor. So it seems like the steering might be out of alignment, which is strange because I haven't hit any big bumps, any big potholes, nothing to put it out of alignment. So it would have gradually done it on its own. It's odd, but I guess it happens.